Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Trip Forman, and this is the Lost Psycho Killer. And this one that we have here is in carbon wrap technology, which is an EPS epoxy build with a carbon stringer on the deck, no wood stringer with inside the board, and then also the carbon tapes on the bottom of the board. And this is the board that I was riding myself. This is a stock 6.4 Psycho Killer. So this board, the Psycho Killer, is based off of the Quiver Killer, which is Lost, basically quiver killing surfboard that you can almost ride in everything at fairly decent groveler, all the way up to basically it'll ride whatever you can paddle that board into. This board was developed as a twist to that board, basically to just give it a little bit more low-end power at the bottom. You can make the Quiver Killer work in virtually no surf, but this one does a little bit more of the work for you by having a little bit wider tail block out the back and a little bit straighter rail line out the back as well, just to generate more speed. There's a lot of boards on the market that look pretty similar to this board. I think where this one differs is it definitely has a little bit looser, more of a shortboard feel rather than a flatter fish feel. If you look at the foil of the nose, like where there's actually quite a bit of meat here underneath your chest, but then it really foils out up forward. And also the rocker in the very front of the board, there's a little bit more rocker than a lot of the flatter boards that are similar to this board, and then there's also more foam taken out. So what that does, it just allows the board to fit into tighter parts of the wave, make later drops, and then also when you're swinging it around through the turns, there's just less mass way out on the end of the board. This board is really drivey through the turns, like the straight rail line, and even it does have a double bump in the outline in the tail. So right here there's a slight wing, and then also right here there's a slight wing, but in between those the rail line's pretty straight, so it keeps that drive through the turns and through the being able to drive out of the turn and create speed. And then also having this bigger tail block does that as well. So it ends up being a really drivey board, and also, you know, a board that has a decent amount of momentum built into it. The carbon wrap is super nice in that, you know, not having a stringer in the board allows the board to flex more and spring out of the turns and create quite a bit of speed. And then this one has R4 channels, which as well allow you to drive through those turns and push and really thrust out of the turns, and gives you more speed and a little bit more connection to the water as well. The only place where I didn't like this board, I liked it a lot basically in everything I rode it in, from pretty small surf, like it was actually grovel friendly, even more grovel friendly than the Quiver Killer, which is saying something. I mean, Lost makes a lot of boards that grovel better than this, but for where this would be in your quiver, you could take it on a trip and ride, you know, all the way down to pretty junky surf on it, and ride it into basically as big as anything you could paddle into. But you know, where it didn't work in this construction, and I ride my boards kind of big just because I am big and I like big boards, but where it didn't work as well is we had a really good day turn a little bit sour when the wind went side shore. It got bumpy, and then there was also a rip coming out through the break, and having a higher volume board in that light construction, it was just hard keeping it attached to the water. So in that sort of situation, the poly would have been a better choice, or if anybody was riding their boards, you know, comparatively lower volume to their weight than I do, it would have been easy to keep it attached. But other than that, super good board. I mean, I love my Quiver Killer, and this board is definitely a good twist on that board, and you know, and really well received throughout all the customers that we put them on. For fin setup, these are the large Philippe Toledo's FCS2. All the Quiver Killers come 5-fin. The board works as a thruster. It works as a quad. I've also ridden it twin plus trailer, which works really well in like flat face surf. If you're riding like kind of real slopey waves of any size, like that twin plus trailer works really well in that type of surf. But the thruster or the quad, that's just going to be preference on what your surfing style is and where you want to be on the wave. Again, it's the Lost Psycho Killer, and this one is in carbon wrap technology. If you have any more questions on the Psycho Killer, or if you want to place an order, you can give us a call at the shop, 252-987-6000, or you can look us up online, realwatersports.com. Thanks for tuning in.